Hello, hello, hello. This is your man Nicholas Shepherd from the Shepherd Family Enterprise, LLC, Business Administration and Information Systems Consultants. And what I'm doing today is basically doing some tests, okay, running some tests and doing some reviewing. I have not been really working on my project management database because I was involved in a couple of other projects that kind of pulled me away from this. Um, I'm trying to make sure that I continue to do um, these series of instructions and tutorials um, based on my observation of the Access database, okay, Microsoft Access database, and how you can implement this in your business, whether it is a starting off business, something that you decide you want to do, or possibly you wanted to get something done, but you just did not know how to go about doing it because there's a lot of different tools out there and they're quite expensive. Okay, and I think that Microsoft Access is the easiest database tool that a small business LLC, okay, or starting corp, business corp could get into. And the whole reason why I developed this series of training is to give you an ideal, a concept of how you can manage not only the projects that you're working on, but to implement invoices, time you actually um, started working, and the time it took you to finish each project. All right, and um, but these beginning series is basically is tooling your mind to be able to make intelligent decisions concerning the direction you want your projects to go and how you're going to deal with certain factors within your project. Okay. So this whole tool, which is that Microsoft Access database that I'm actually using as a reference um, to get you to use the same logic on any platform. All right. And when you are trying to build some type of um, comprehensive structure, all right, and how you're going to be working with your clients, okay? And it also try to help you to stay focused on your objectives. And the objectives may be many different things, but you can always go to this tool or the tool that you create in reference to the tool that I have here, and it will allow you to go back and look at previous assignments and things like that. I have a lot of different things that I use to track what I'm doing. I use Microsoft Word document. I use OneNotes or Note One. Um, I use PowerPoint, which you can go back and look at those type of descriptions. I extensively utilize Microsoft products, and it's because it's not only is it um, user friendly, but you can always push yourself into an automated system utilizing these projects. Okay, so um, we're gonna go ahead and get off into what we were working on, and I'm gonna do a little review, okay, on some things first. And as I go into these reviews, we're going to start looking at some things and we're gonna look at some things and figure out, well, where should we be and what should be the next steps of us getting to a point within our current system that will allow us to complete a project working with a client, and then when do I think we need to pull away from it? Okay, so those are the things right now. Um, so what I have done, okay, now I have not been really, like I said again, I have not been working with the projects at all, and it says here since April. Now, I'm going to say March because I was going through some things. Um, you know, some of it was like personal um, matters I had to take care of, and some of the things were just things that I decided to, okay, let me put this on hold until I get my family affairs in place, and then I'll come back to this so I have a clear head. The second thing, I was trying a new product. Okay, as you know, um, I always been using Alpha Brain. Okay, and I tried it out. It's a very effective vitamin, and I kind of stopped using it and went into because I'm an extensive YouTube follower, and someone had advertised a dynamic brain. All right, and I'm gonna go off into these different things, but I'm going to show you these two products. Now, the first product I'm going to show you that I have been using for like quite some time. You can see it. It's called Alpha Brain. Okay, hope it's not backwards, but on my screen it's backwards, but to you it should be in its proper alignment. Okay, it's Alpha Brain. Now, this product here is very good. This is a very good product. I highly recommend Alpha Brain. Um, if for memory and focus, if you are doing project work, okay. Um, and I'm going to describe to you why I think that. The next product, after I weaned myself off the Alpha Brain, I went into this product. Okay, it's called Dynamic Brain. All right. Now, Dynamic Brain is an excellent vitamin as well. Okay, and it does give your attention span, increases. All right, but this is my opinion. Okay, of this product. The narrow of scope, right, in this product here, Dynamic Brain, for me, all right, is too wide. All right, using, and I'm gonna continue to use this now. When I go to work at my secondary job, I'm going to take this. All right, because I have to stay focused on like my range of attention had to be very broad. So this is excellent if you multitasking and you working, and you have to work fast and you have to do a lot of different things. You got a lot of busy work, you're moving place to place doing this. Okay, dynamic brain is for you. Okay, all right. Now dynamic brain is for you. Now what I do with dynamic brain, I mix it with a herbal tea with raw honey. I put lemon juice and apple cider vinegar with this. All right. And usually what I do, okay, now it says use one tab, but I put two tablets in a coffee cup, and I put the tea, and then I open up the capsules. Okay, now the reason why I open the capsules on both of my vitamins is because of the fact that it has been reported that um, some people have been having cramps, severe cramps when they take this, and it's probably because their body is not breaking down that plastic capsule. All right. So what happens is that it's probably poking as it's dissolved, it's poking in your gut for some reason and causing you to have these cramping. Um, and I'm not a medical professional. Okay, I'm just going by my personal experience. All right, but once I started, open the capsule up, pour it in a coffee cup, and I put the tea in there, put the boiling water in there, put my honey, my lemon juice, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, stir it up, drink it. Within 30 minutes, it's working. Okay. But again, I found out now when I'm trying to work my projects, and that's probably the reason why I have not been really focusing on my project like I was because I have, been doing a lot of busy work. If you have a lot of busy work, dynamic brain is for you. Okay. This right here will keep you very active, right? Keep you very busy, right? But if you need to be more concentrated, you need more concentration on one task at a time, but you can also go through different things like I'm doing right now. Alpha brain is for you, okay? You understand? Alpha brain is for you, okay? Because once you sit down, once you take this, right? Once you take alpha brain and you sit down and start working on something, you stay there, all right? I could not do that with dynamic brain. It wouldn't allow me to do that, okay? Alpha brain keep me focused on what I set out to do, one task. Okay, I'm not saying it does be stuck on one screen, but it's task orientated. Okay, this right here is for people maybe like if they're doing conferences, they have to do a lot of moving around and stuff like that. But it has its limitations because um, what would happen while using dynamic brain, you tend to forget what you were doing. He's like, man, okay, what's I supposed to do? But people who keep notes, everything, they can go through the book like I do. You go back and start off what you're doing. You can keep notes. Some people use recording devices for that, talk about different things, or they got these different paths. They write stuff down. Those are excellent tools as well. Okay, I don't use those things. Okay, because usually I'm task orientated. So when I do a task, I do that task, and then I move on to the next task. Okay. All right. So, um, that is that. Going back into my, um, going back into product, my project. Okay. And let me show you these things again because I know probably my screen was probably too small. Okay. Alpha brain. If you have it gives you a wider scope of what you're doing. Okay. Mini is not task orientated to me. All right. Um, your range of scope is very wide. Alpha brain will narrow your scope. Okay. I'm not saying it'll limit you to one. I'm talking about it would narrow your scope of what you concentrate on. Okay. So alpha brain is good for those who do these things. Okay. Look at it. Look at it. Okay. And they are not cheap. Okay. Alpha brain. Okay. These are not cheap. All right. They're about $30, $40 a bottle. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to start using that, you have to add that in your budget. All right, because they give you a 30-day supply. Of course, sometimes you're gonna use that up before a month is out. So I usually get two prescriptions a month, and like I said, I add certain things with my coffee. Um, I put the Alpha Brain with my um, Let's show it to you. Okay, I use Alpha Brain with my. This is for Sigmatic. It's Focus Organic Coffee. As you see, it has lion's mane and I guess it's what it's called char chara charba. I guess charga. Whatever that came out. I have my glass on mushrooms. Okay, this is excellent. This is excellent. Okay, and I take that with both of these from. This is from On It. Okay, and they have a lot of different things. And this is from Four Sigmatic. All right, outstanding. All right, so those are three things. Um, I am, really, uh, and this is they're not paying me to say these different things, anything like that. I'm doing it. I'm on, recognition, and hopefully it'll raise my awareness. Okay. Okay. Let's get back at the task at hand. All right. So, again, I have not been really working on a couple of things concerning um, my project. So, this is a document I created. All right, and this is what, like I said, this is Microsoft Word. I've been using Microsoft Word for many years, man. Okay, I've been using Microsoft Word, Excel. I'm talking like since it was introduced. All right, because when I work in the corporate sector, it was not a package deal at all. Access was not a package deal. None of these products are you had to buy them independently, and they were loaded on DOS computers. Okay, you understand? So when they loaded these things in, it was like, it, those of you who've been around as long as I have, you would know what I'm talking about. All right, and a lot of things on DOS. You have to put in a command line, do this, do that, go to the screen. There was no mouse. You had to tab here, pick these buttons, tab here, do this, and do all your coding. And then you did like that, just like when I was working with Cobalt, right? I was a Cobalt programmer as well. That's what I went to college for. And then I went off to Microsoft, went to that. Then I went into Oracle. Um, did Oracle financials. Uh, you know, um, work with different, all the different AR, accounts receivable, accounts payable, um, receivables. Um, and then there's other different facets of that as well, dealing the billing industry or the medical industry I was working with. Okay, so I was a programmer analyst, and then from there I went to um, work at another industry, um, aircraft industry, and I was doing which I was a senior technical leader at G Aviation, and from there we managed a lot of servers, a lot of applications, web development. I basically was involved in everything. Okay, all aspects of programming. Okay, in my career, so I know a lot of different things. I'm not talking as a novice, but some of you more advanced than I am. But so to you, I am a novice. Okay, I'm still learning. Okay, all right, because there are people out here that's in this business are super intelligent, man. They're not normal people like you and I. They are super intelligent, man. Okay, like their brain was just that much advanced when we were born. Okay, and you cannot train your brain to be that way. You have to be born with this capability to be able to do some of the things that these geniuses, okay, I call them geniuses, okay. I'm very intelligent, all right, but there are people that are super intelligent, all right, and we'll go off on that some other time. Some of my state of awareness um, videos, you can go out there on YouTube and you can look at, or once you subscribe, go to state of awareness, and you can look at some of my videos and some of the things is based on a lot of different things other than this segment, but it talks about a lot of different things. There's, a lot of intellectual things that you can learn, and you can go off and venture off to yourself and do extra research. I'm not a scholar on anything. I just do the work, and I come up with my own concepts and my own ideals based on the knowledge that I've acquired through years of research, okay, and study and practical applications, okay. I made mistakes, all right. You know what I'm saying? Everyone make mistakes. I've seen people make mistakes, and I'm talking like people who've been doing it, okay. And in this business, it's a big egotistic environment where everybody think they're smarter than each other. And it just amazed me how people just think that way, man. And and I'd be like, man, and so these people, I'll be looking at them and I say, you're not that smart, man, But when they talk into certain facets of people, they deal with those individuals, okay, because they don't want no problems. It's a person's character and stuff like that. But then a person like me, they can hardline me, okay, because I'm that tough. I'm that tough minded, right? And and I speak what's on my mind. I'm very professional, and sometimes I get off. I rub some of the upper management the wrong way because I'm very direct, man. Okay, you understand? I've always been that since I was young. With the Marine Corps that way, I didn't take a lot of crap from people. Always stayed in the combat unit. Where it's very aggressive environment, everything like that. So that is my character. Okay, and it's just not that. I went from civilian life from back in the '60s. Okay, I was born in 1962 into now. I'm 63 years of age. All right, my character has toned down a little, but I do not take a lot of nonsense. Okay, I don't put up with a lot of nonsense dealing with certain people that have certain characteristics. Right? Kind of like listen to them and let them go on about their business because some people you just can't s- sit around for long periods of time and let them try to talk to you like you have no intelligence at all. Okay, so and that comes to this series, okay, the project management database system, which we are working on. And what I'm trying to teach you is have a structured ideal of what you're trying to do. Okay, a structured ideal of what you're trying to do. I don't want you to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and everything like that. Plan out your days. Okay, plan out your months. Okay, write down exactly what you're doing. Be able to go back. And there's some of you that when you get older, you're gonna find out you're gonna need this type of document. Okay, and these are safe havens for you. Okay, if you forget something, you can always go back. So like this right here goes back from 2020. Okay, and I have been doing things before that, but I lost a lot of information because the systems that I had at that time, you have to put a lot of stuff on paper. Um, I didn't have any publishers, anything like that, or I couldn't afford to have people to retype this information, regenerate it, put it in different things. I was doing all that myself, okay, and still trying to carry the concept of the Shephard Enterprise LLC Business Administration Information System. So it's okay. So here I am. All right. Um, I'm working on this document. Okay. And what I'm going to do here, and it is, and I got to do this. Sorry for this here, but I have to go down, and I like to copy down my, uh, my tabs. Okay. So to make sure that they are um, placed where they're supposed to be placed. Okay. All right. So I'll go here, and I'm gonna come here. I just put this in here, and I just put May. All right. Okay. Let's see. May. 01. Let me say May. I didn't do anything. May was a rough month for me. 2025 through 31 May. Okay, 2000. Okay. So there was no assess, no um, assigned tasks initiated during this time at all. Okay, same thing with the previous month, previous month. I just was involved in so many different things that I just wasn't able to initiate anything. Okay, so here nor there, you know, um, I'm not going to bicker about it. It is what it is. But I still was able to function. All right. So here it is. It's June, second week in June. All right. And here I am. Okay. I am, this is June the 14th, and I just got my Alpha Brain, and I got my replenished order of focus factor, um, or focus organic coffee, and for mental clarity and energy. I've been using that coffee for quite some time. Okay, now it's June. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, um, go here, pull this up, copy, go here, put this in here, and this is June. Where am I at? No, it's June 1st. What the heck am I doing? June 1st through June and June. It had 30 days in it. Okay. I got a lot going on. Oh, excuse me. I got a lot going on with my system. I might have to update my whole computer system pretty soon, man. You know, that's gonna be kind of expensive. 25. Okay, going to say audit records. Um, well, I'm not going to say that because I got June up here. So this is June the 13th. Okay, and put here. Um, It's gonna be um, what is this right here? Reference. See if it let me do it. Okay, so this is gonna be add text where it'll be level 3 thing. I really didn't have to do that, man. Really I didn't. Escape out of that. I could have just, copy and paste this right here. See, I could have just copy and paste that. You know, could have did this. That'd have been easier. Okay, and then get rid of this. Right. All right. So there we have it. Oh, that one I want to from April. Okay, from May. Okay, so I got this in here. Is this not showing on my screen? Sorry, didn't mean that. Calgon, take me away. Okay, so what are we doing today? Didn't mean to waste too much of your time, but what are we doing today? All right, so what we are doing today is we're going to be going through these notes here. Determine a new user record to be locked, right? And these are all the factors in that. I'm going to go ahead and bring them down because I don't want to lose the scope in what I was doing. Okay. All right. So I don't have to keep going back down here. I shouldn't have to keep going back down here. So, so I go here. I'm going to click this, copy this, go back up to June, right? Okay, go back to June. Okay, go here, come down, right, and paste. Okay, see how I did that? All right, I'm gonna save my record. So all this is going to be basically initiated based on um, what I already have. And I'm gonna take out this number, man. This really no need for me to have this number. Let's see. Let's see what's gonna do. I don't know if we'll take it out or not. So let's hope this thing don't shut my system down, man. Because like I said, I'm doing a lot, man. Let's see. I don't have anything connected to. Okay, so there's nothing else connected to my source, but it's just that you just got to be, I'm doing a lot, and it's doing a lot of thinking. Okay, this whole system doing a lot of thinking, and it should like actually it shouldn't even be a one, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. See, right? So I just do that, and then it saves the whole document, right? You know what I'm saying? Um, you see how many pages this is? It's 1,409 pages. All right. Well, that is the luxury that you have, okay, when you have a computer system. Now, I can cut that off and break it down within segments of years and like that, but I'm good for right now. Okay. I've seen documents 10,000, 20,000 pages, man. You know what I'm saying? So, um, as long as your system can hold that type of memory, then okay. But until it gets to a point where, well, I'll probably do that next year, all right? And just lock this document down and use it as a reference and create a hyperlink that will open up this document and be able to correlate what I'm working on to something already done, so there'd be a reference. So I had to put a lot of reference stuff in there, okay? Which that's a different tutorial, all right? All right, so we're looking at what we're doing. So administrative negotiations and actions. So going into my database, right? Okay, and we start at this level right here. The whole purpose of what we're doing is basically trying to negate when should we approach the customer that okay, you know, do you want to be a paying client? Okay, do you want us to pursue working for your company to complete this project? All right, and there's a lot of things that have to take place in order to happen, right? One of the things is you have to ensure that the customer understands what your role is and what role would they play in assisting you if you need more information. All right. But then there has to be a cutoff because you can't keep going back to the client numerous of times. Okay. Because the reason why they hired you for this task, because they don't have the time to work on it. Okay. You understand? So you have to be very independent when they bring you in as a business consultant to work on something. And this tool is only to manage projects. You understand? And break those projects down, and then you can track what you're doing from customer to customer to customer to customer. All right. Now, some of these buttons work, some of them doesn't. And as I move forward into this right here, I will start creating more things, behind these buttons. But these buttons here are the initial construct of your company. All right. And I will train you, and it can be tooled to govern what you want done. All right. Based on these, but I can change the name of the buttons, everything like that, and create forms and, you know, macros and code a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do a lot of coding. All right. Because with AI coming in, you're not going to do anything in that. You just paste it in there, and then they give you everything you need. All right. So that's where we at. That's where we are. Excuse me. So what we wanted to do, okay, we were working on a client, right? So we're gonna go to the client worksheet, all right, and we're gonna go to the order number. Come up here, all right. Let's see where's order number. Five, right? Okay. Um, I'm gonna copy this right here. Copy this order number, and we're gonna go off into. All right. We go over here. We go to customer service menu, right? And then we're gonna go into um, what is it? Accounting menu, And then the customer accounts. This customer accounts. Nope, that's not customer accounts. Let's see, department account, corporate accounts. Corporate accounts. Order number. Search. Okay. So, um, what we're doing, basically, like I said, we're verifying to build a customer account. All right. So, in this, what we want to do was to make sure that once we got to this stage here, all right, we have all the information that is needed in order to move this project forward. All right. So you have to be swift. All right. You have to get information, utilize information, create a budget for the customer, and then do some quotes. Right. That's the whole initiative to get the customer to commit themselves to a quote or to a price. Okay. Then you write up an agreement, a contract, so that you can begin the project work. All right. So the funding has to be there. All these things has to be there. Okay. Before you start. All right. So that's what you have here. So at this particular stage right here, um, we already talked to the client. You know, we still gather information. It could be a couple of days, a couple of weeks, whatever the situation is, but you're trying to push this effort forward. Now, before this project can even go any further, we have to go to the financial officer, right? And the financial